My next guest is a featherweight contender, and he's from Nashville, Tennessee. He returns to the MMA cage for the second time in 2023. This time, it'll be on December 15th at Nashville Underground. My friend Zack Hicks joins me right now. Zack, welcome back to the show, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. It was a pleasure last time, and looking forward to speaking to you again.
And I will have to take a hit right off the top here. I misspelled your name, not only on the Instagram post, but also on this screen overlay. So apologies to the typo. My bad.
All good. I'm used to it because, I spelled my name. My full name is Zachary, Zachary, and I changed it when I was younger with a K when I shortened it. And so really, it's kind of correct.
Okay, so then I'm not a complete jackass. So there we go.
No, I do shorten it with a K, but I mean,
I think of Zach and I think of H. I do.
Yeah.
I don't, because where does the K even come from?
Right? Yeah, I know. I just added it. I just thought it looked better spelled out Zach, Z-A-C-K instead of Z-A-C-H. Well, I was like a teenager. I was like, this is how I'm gonna spell my name now.
And this is a passive-aggressive suggestion to maybe think about bringing the H back into the fold. It's passive-aggressive.
Funny thing, you know why I didn't?
Why?
It's MMA related because there's another Zack Hicks out of Louisiana or Mississippi or something. And when I started my amateur career, he was losing fights and they put his fights on my record and I had to get it corrected. And I was like, that's not me. He spells it with an H. I spell mine with a K. So that kind of helped me keep it separate.
You guys could think about maybe one day fighting for your identity.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take the H back.
There we go. There we go. Well, Zack, welcome back, my friend. I'm glad that we can do this. And there's a lot to unpack with you. And I kind of wanted to start right off the get-go. The Nate Kelly fight, the PFL Challenger Series, that's where the story, we need to pick back up from that.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was a lot there that I was thinking about. I watched the fight and then, I'm kind of sitting on that one, just me independently. And I'm like, there's a chance Zack might not fight again after that. Yeah. I was thinking to myself, I have a pretty good pulse of kind of where he's at. He's got a wife, he's got a job, he's got a child. You've accomplished a lot in MMA at this point. And there's a part of me where I'm like, yeah, it really wouldn't come from left field if he told me he was done. That might be it. Unpack that for me. And when did you just kind of come to that determination that going back into the cage was something that you wanted to do?
So, I mean, you're not wrong. Your instincts were pretty spot on. I never announced I'm retiring or anything like that. And I never told anyone I was, but there is always in the back of your head, it's really just my age, and what, everything you mentioned, wife, kid, all that. Even though my wife supports me pursuing this, my job's demanding, having a son's, demanding, even though I love it. It's time away from them training. I was trying to rationalize it in my head, made it to the PFL. That's cool. That's that. I mean, no doubt now they're the number 2 promotion in the world now that they've absorbed Bellator. I was like, should I just end? I made it to the PFL. I made it to the next level. Am I going to do anything bigger than this? And for a while, I was okay. Let me just train. I focused on jiu-jitsu for a while, see how I feel. I also took, how many fights was that? 4 fights in less than 10 months, which is a lot of fights. And the Nate Kelly fight kind of was thrown in my lap, and I had 7 or 8 weeks, which is a lot of times you don't get that time to train for a fight. And I was like, why would I pass this up? And I'm glad I took it, even though it went the way it went, because I did make it to that next level. So, I kind of thought about that, and it's should I just end it on this? I've been through a lot. I'm 30. I just turned 34 not long after the Nate Kelly fight. And then I don't feel right when I don't have a goal. And I have other goals outside of MMA. It's not that's my only goal. But I just am a better person when I'm training and have something to work towards. So I slowly started training with the fight team again, probably in the middle of the summer. Started picking it up, still doing jiu-jitsu. And I talked to Steve a couple times, my manager, and it was he would offer me fights or be like, hey, this is what, I just got this. Are you interested? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I never said, no, I'm not fighting or anything like that. I'm just like, I just still need some more time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started training again, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to end like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that'll always sit with me. I was already extremely disappointed in my performance. I don't feel like that was me. Like, not taking anything away from Nate Kelly. He's a good fighter. He's headlining PFL Europe right now. I might have lost to him at my best. But I think I'm better than what I performed. I think the bright lights got to me a little bit mentally. Like, I just wasn't my usual self. Like, and camp was great. Everything was great. So I really just blame myself and me not being there mentally like I should be. So I just started, I kind of got off topic, but I started training again. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some more fights to see where it goes, take it fight by fight. And Underground was coming back to town for Aries Fight Series. And Jeff was like, hey, you want to fight on this? And so was Steve, and Dustin Ortiz, my coach, even mentioned it. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna keep doing this. And
not only like a physical journey, but like a mental journey in the sense, like, go back to like Orlando, and then the disappointment, like, you get that build up, you get that platform. This is something that you work at for a while. And it's like, okay, like, this is the opportunity that I've been waiting for. Like, I've been at this for years on end. And it's one of those things where you get to a point in your career and it's like, well, is that opportunity ever going to happen? And then bam, it happens. We get it. And then, like, it's over before you know it. And, you know, you're probably not even like, you're probably still dry in the back room, and you're thinking to yourself, like, what the hell happened? Like, it just, like, did you like liken it to like sand kind of falling through your fingers? Like, what the hell? Like, because it'd be really easy to like look at that and like not ever be able to like kind of rebound from that mentally.
Yeah, it's still hard trying to rebound from that, but that's kind of motivation for me to not go out like that. I've never been beat like that before that quickly. Nobody's ever beat me like that. I've lost in the third round. That's it, ever, or by decision. Like, nobody's ever submitted me really, and especially in the first round. So that was really disheartening and just really hard for me to deal with mentally, because he essentially beat me at what I'm good at. But I really think it was, I blame myself mentally for that fight. I don't think it was a physical thing. It was a mental thing. But with that being said, Nate Kelly might have beat me if I was 100% on mentally. He's a good fighter. He's 100%, I think, one of the top prospects out of Europe. So it's a lot to get over. And I had a lot of ego to swallow because I was like, you know, do I want to go back regionally? Like, I got a taste of that big league, and I was like, it's really cool.
Right.
But like, do I want to go back to like hard training camps again, fighting regionally? But honestly, Aries and the guys, Jeff Hobbs, all those guys, I mean, they're fighting for them's a pleasure. Like, they treat us really well, and it's just fun fighting at home, fighting for them. So that's I just trying to take myself less seriously, I guess, with this.
You talked about maybe taking a little bit of time before you kind of immersed yourself back with your fight team and kind of got back into that sort of like training camp mentality, for lack of better terms. But did your time away from like MMA and like actively training and maybe thinking, like, forgetting about the grueling schedules that like fight camps entail, like, did that like time away benefit you also from like a mental health standpoint?
I think so. Yeah. It was good to like step away and just be on the outside and train when I want to, not because I have to. You know, spend more time with family and all that. But I got real lazy. I was eating bad, got up to like close to 180. Even though I was still training, you know, drinking beer sometimes instead of training. I love IPAs, so I was drinking those like on the weekends, and I mean, you know, those are full of calories, so I was just loading up on carbs, and I just felt bad mentally. I just felt bad mentally like that, though. And I talked to my wife, and I'm like, I need to get back in the gym more consistent, because that's when I'm happiest. That's when I'm focused, and I think I'll always be in the gym some way or another, even after I'm fully done, because, you know, that gives me clarity. That gives me just helps my mental state.
Hey, so we conclude the dirty bulk. We go back into the
Yeah.
training room. We get ready for Nashville Underground. And tell me a little bit about Nashville Underground. Like, I think of them and, recency bias on my part. I immediately think of Torres Finney. Like, that's the guy I think of. He just kind of went through the ranks there. What is it about these guys that makes you want to go back out there and fight for them? I know there are other promotions throughout Tennessee that you probably could have also competed with.
They just treat you really well. Like Tim Lloyd, Jeff Hobbs, they've always treated me very respectfully. They make it fun. They were at the gym today actually doing interviews and just stopping by, posters and things like that. They're just good guys, and I just enjoy fighting for them. I wouldn't really want to fight. It's kind of who I'm loyal to, the Aries Fight Series / Underground group. And I'm fighting in my gym. Like I was just doing strength and conditioning where the cage is going to be. And like, it's like fighting at home. I really feel like it's a home field advantage too.
Hey, that makes total sense. Like I think pretending I'm in your situation, it's just like, well, I'm going to do the things that interest me, and I'm going to like fight like with a promotion I'm comfortable with. I'm going to fight like for the people I know and or the people that I'm comfortable with, because like my days of like fighting for some sketch guy in a checkered suit with like a greased up mustache, those days are over.
Yeah, I don't want to fight for anyone like that. I mean, I would fight for like a CFFC, something like that, bigger regional, Fury FC. But in terms of the local regional stuff in the Southeast, mainly just, Aries Fight Series. And they get their guys to the next level. They got Trevor Peak, Torres Finney, Robbie Ring, me on the PFL. We all came straight from Aries or Nashville Underground to those promotions. Like there's no, okay, go up to this next level or next level. So obviously it's on the radar of other big promotions.
Zach, is it safe to say, the pending offer that I've submitted to you to fight, for Uncle Tyler's backyard fights, that we might not be seeing you? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, money talks though. So
all right,
know how much?
Well, I'll work that out with Steve. But in the meantime, we'll be going up against Brandon Gaitor. Now, he's somebody that I've seen this guy compete before. I immediately think about his bout against Jose Perez. That's one of his opponents, aside from you, that I'm pretty familiar with. How did his name kind of make its way over to you, and when did you get the offer?
I got the offer probably about 4 weeks ago. Yeah. No, maybe like 5 weeks. It was about an 8-week training camp, so whatever that adds up to, 6 weeks ago. It was the first guy they offered me. Jeff Hobbs, the promoter, called me and matchmaker and said, "Hey, what do you think about this guy, Brandon Gaitor?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know who that is." I was like, "I'm cool with it." I pretty much accepted it right away. And then I just had to run it past Dustin and Steve. They're there for it, so we locked it in. I'm familiar with their gym, Law School MMA. They have some really good guys. I know them well. I've trained with a lot of those guys throughout the years, so they're very familiar with me, and vice versa.
And I was just going to ask you, because of that familiarity, like, have you ever trained with him before?
No, not him in particular, but I trained with a few of his teammates. And one of their coaches, he's like the jiu-jitsu coach over there. I've cornered him for fights way back in the day, like 2013, 2014. Helped him get ready for fights, so they know me well. I've literally sparred with their head coach, Brian Hall.
All right. Well, Brandon Gaitor, I think about this guy, and admittedly, maybe not the best record on paper, but he's been on a tear lately, and he's won 3 out of his last 4. He KO'd his last opponent at UFL 2, and that wasn't the plan. Like, that was not the plan, to bring him in and to have him style on somebody, and that's exactly what he did. Like, what makes this guy like somebody that kind of excites you? Obviously, you're not going to fight some guy that doesn't excite you. Like, you want to fight a guy that interests you. What is it about him that interests you?
I just think it's a good style matchup. I think he's tough. I think I always told pretty much every promoter, most guys I talk to, like, when I accept fights, I want someone who's going to get me out of bed and motivate me, just like you're saying. I don't want to fight some complete scrub, or someone with a terrible record. 5-4, it's not the best record, But I mean, he has won most of his recent fights. I think he's pretty well rounded. I just think I'm better everywhere than him. And without giving away too much, I think I can beat the guy. So I took the fight.
Well, I would like when I think of you, Zach, I immediately think of grappling. That's what I think of. I think of somebody who is aggressive. I think of somebody who is going to want to like test your opponent's like grappling capabilities, like right out the gate. Like that is what I envision when I think about you. And just overall, without getting into specifics, do you feel like you have a grappling advantage over your opponent?
For sure. I think I have a grappling advantage over most guys, honestly. That's why my last fight didn't, he beat me in grappling, but I train with bigger guys. I train with really good grapplers, and I out-grapple them. So I think I can out-grapple them for sure. I think I can outstrike him. I think I can beat him everywhere. I think my cardio is better. I'm a little younger than him, actually. Not the older guy here.
Wow.
I think I'm more
for a change.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I think I know I'm more experienced. And with the coaches behind me and the training camp I've had, I don't see anything but me winning.
I know it sounds kind of cliche because we always, when I talk to fighters, the common refrain is always, well, it's always me versus me at the end of the day. But is that even more true for you for this particular fight compared to maybe some of your prior ones? Is this in a way to just kind of like prove to yourself, regardless of whatever the future holds? Like, I'm not that guy that fought in Orlando. Like, that's not what I'm about as a fighter. Like, I don't give up time away from my wife. I don't give up time away from my son to put on performances like that. This is like personal. Like I'm maybe it's armchair psychology, but I'm just trying to like think through how I would be feeling if I were you. And those are some of the sentiments I come up with.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It is. I want to get that taste out of my mouth. Anytime I lose, I want to get the taste out of my mouth. This time in particular, because I lost, and in my opinion, to me, an embarrassing like fashion. So I want to get that taste out of my mouth, and I want to beat this guy and prove it to myself that it is me versus me. And when I'm in there and I have mental focus and I believe in myself, I know I can hang in there with the best guys.
Well, Zach, I'm not going to ask you about game plans. I'm not going to really delve too much into specifics. But what I will ask you is for everyone that is buying a ticket, for the people that are going to be showing up to Nashville Underground to watch you fight, what can they expect when you re-enter the cage here?
They can expect forward pressure the whole time and just a relentless pace because I'm going to put it on this guy. I'm not going to stop. And my cardio is as good as it's ever been. I feel physically better. Everybody says it, but physically better than ever. I don't get tired in the gym. And I know getting tired in the gym and getting tired in the fight is a different thing, because you could have the best cardio in the world, but if you're not locked in under those bright lights, you'll gas. And I have enough experience where that's not going to happen. And I'm going to push the pace for 3 rounds, and I'm either get him out of there or I'm going to win a dominant decision over him.
Well, Zach, I look forward to seeing the performance. If there's anyone out there, sir, that you wanted to thank before I let you go, let's do it. Okay.
Always my wife first, Beth. She she could have been there with me and been like, yeah, you can retire now. But she wasn't. She always supports me in my decisions. And she was even like, you're not done. She always tells me that. So if she sees it, like, why should I not see it? My wife, of course, all my family, like my son, because I'd spend time away from him. Everybody at Nashville in May, strength and conditioning coach Tim, Dustin Ortiz, all my training partners, Chris Ocon, Ronnie Lawrence, all those guys. Too many to name, obviously. Ruby Swartz, my manager Steve Swedish, of course. He got me this fight, and all the guys at Nashville Underground Aries Fight Series for being there for me. Team Reaper, one of my sponsors. Yeah, and of course you for having me on. Give me this exposure.
Zach, it's always a pleasure. And for the next time I have you on, I'm going to be an even bigger jackass. I'm going to add another H to your name. How about that?
Sounds like a good deal.
Zach, as always, man, it's a huge pleasure. On a serious note, I wish you the best of skill later on this month, and I look forward to having you back very soon.